Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I just wanted to do a quick reflection on 2020. It's been quite a year to say the least, and I'm sure all of you feel the same way. I want to write down the top 3 reflections. I would say I initially wanted to do 20 lessons that I've learned, but that may take too long, and I think I would have to think about that a bit more, but I can definitely think of the top 3 right now, the ones that stand out the most. And so I'll just go ahead and write those down and continue to reflect in the coming days. I like to do that every year and just write in my journal, and so I could just have a fresh start to the new year. I am honestly cautiously optimistic about 2021. I always want to be positive and not think of anything negative or think of what could go wrong. I always like to put positive things out into the universe, but given the year that we've had, it's been a bit traumatic, and so I'm a little cautious to claim 2021 as my year. But like I said, I'm being cautiously optimistic. We should always be prepared for when things might go wrong, but not ruminate too much, and of course always be hopeful for things that could go right, because more than likely things will go right, and that's what I want to keep my mind on as we turn the page to the new year. So this is a journal that I intended to keep throughout the year, and it's very short, so I actually was thinking that I would finish within maybe a month at least. It's why I picked this book, so that I could finish it quickly and be motivated to keep going. When I tend to pick a journal with a lot of pages, I sometimes get overwhelmed and pressure to finish it, and then when I see that I'm not finishing it, I tend to get discouraged and quit. I did kind of quit this journal, but just because of the year that we've had and that I've had, really. I did end up getting sick with coronavirus from March to April. Thankfully, not severe enough to go to the hospital. It was still pretty traumatic and pretty hard though, and but thankfully I made it through, and that's one of my lessons from 2020, actually, just reminding myself how resilient I actually am. And I'm actually dealing with long COVID now. I don't know if you've heard about that in the news, but I still find myself very fortunate though, because based on stories I've heard, my heart goes out to everyone who's dealing with this illness in a much more severe way, and I just hope that we all continue to persevere, and that as many people as possible are healed, because this is it's pretty intense what we've been going through for the past year. But anyway, I chose this journal at the beginning of 2020 because my word of the year was joy. Ironically enough, I've never picked a word of the year before. 2020 was the first time. I typically don't even really like to make resolutions. At the beginning of the year, I like to make goals continuously throughout the year. But for some reason, the word joy resonated with me at the beginning of this year, and so that was supposed to be my word. And I even later down the line, let's see, don't want to show you too much, there's some personal stuff in here, but let's see if I can find it. Okay, let's see. So I started to listen to some podcasts, some wellness, self-care type of podcasts on Spotify, especially when I was really struggling earlier in the year. So a couple quotes stuck out to me. One of them being, "Without feeling and expressing that sadness, we'll never find our way back to joy." And then I wrote, "Funny that my word of the year this year is joy. It's actually quite perfect. True joy is not just about being happy when times are good, but also feeling peace and contentment, even when times are bad and challenging. It's the light that pierces through the darkness. It's God, essentially. God is love. God is joy." And then I write down a few more quotes from the podcast. "Allowing grief to wash over us can act like a cleansing wave. By giving over to sadness, by crying, we can also signal to those around us that we need help. If we insist on putting on a happy face at all times, the people who love us won't know that we need and embrace a kind word or a warm smile." So that's just something that really struck me. I don't know if I would say that joy dominated my year 2020, but there were certainly moments of joy and moments that I would savor and keep with me. And so I'm glad that I chose that word. I still want to reflect on that and keep that with me in the coming year, to learn how to harness and to keep joy even when things aren't going well. And here, I know happiness is not exactly the same as joy, but I just love this quote: "Just do more of what makes you happy." So I'm going to try to finish as much as I can of this journal before the new year. Still quite a bit of blank pages. Okay, so I don't have the neatest of handwriting. This journal is one that I've shown before and one that I've been keeping since July of 2007. It's pretty crazy. I've filled it more than halfway. It's basically kind of like a brain dump type of journal whenever I have an idea, whether it's for the novel that I'm one day going to write, or I've been wanting to be an author since I was a kid, or, you know, business idea, you know, just my half-baked ideas and thoughts I've been putting in here since 2007. And I would say pretty consistently. So, all right. Top 2020 lessons. One, I kind of hinted at before. How resilient I am. Yeah, it's been a tough year, but I'm just reminded and thankful for my resiliency more. Oh, well, I guess I should write down how resilient I am. Yeah, it's probably a better way to say it. I am more resilient than I think I am, because I sometimes, maybe often, doubt myself and don't think that I can make it through something. Not always. I do recognize that I am strong, but especially in those moments, I could forget how strong I am, how resilient I am, how much I've gone through in the past, and that I can get through this moment. So that's one of the lessons from this year. Another one. This might probably that was redundant. This might be redundant for many of you. Don't take things for granted. I remember going into a store. I was sick for quite a while, but the first time I went back into a store and I looked at the shelves that were full, you know, full of food, because as you know, there was a time in March where even the food shelves were kind of bare for a little bit, and then they since filled back up. And I know we're still dealing with some shortages here and there. Most recently, toilet paper again. But I remember just looking at the shelves and all of the food and just feeling this just sense of awe and gratitude. Yeah, just the little things that we take for granted, or going outside for a walk, especially when during the time I was sick, I pretty much I didn't leave my house for almost 2 months, because I was sick for almost 2 months. And just getting that fresh air finally and just looking up at the sky, and you know, just the little things, like taking the time to smell the roses, like they say. So I've had those lessons before, but it was never as highlighted as it was this year. So number 3. And to go along really quick with the previous lesson, number 2, to also not take your family for granted as well. I've barely seen my parents this year, and you know, they're elderly, and I've been wanting to to keep them safe, even though I have already had COVID, but I'm not sure if I can get reinfected, or there's many things we don't know. So I believe I may have only seen them a couple times, and that's only been outside, like at a park with social distance and with masks on. And so I haven't hugged my parents in, almost a year now. And yeah, so that's another little thing that I don't want to take for granted in the future, just the hugs from loved ones and things like that. Number 3, the importance of multiple streams of income. I am very, very grateful that I still have a job. I know many people are struggling out there. I've actually been unemployed before. I've been fired before and have been on unemployment benefits. So I have an idea of what many people are experiencing. And this is something that I've reflected on in the past as well, the importance of multiple streams of income, but it's been really highlighted this year and has motivated me to try to work for myself, to start projects that could bring in more income for my stability and also for my families as well. And yeah, so I started an Etsy shop this past year. I still have to work on it some more. I have made some sales, but I still have to work on it some more, and that's one of my goals of 2020, to continue to develop my own businesses and my own projects, creative projects, things like that. So that's also a top lesson of 2020. Now, I'm sure there are many more, but I will need a bit more time to reflect. But I'm pretty sure those are the top 3. Let me know what your lessons are down below. I'm sure I've missed something big. I might think of it after I stop recording this video. But yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with this. Okay. Let's see. I think I'll write my goals on this page. Number one is to take care of my health and to focus on self-care. Now, if you don't know, I deal with, even before COVID, I've dealt with chronic illnesses throughout my life, and I'm generally better than I've been in the past, which I'm thankful for. But I want to focus even more on my health. It's been years since I've had a regular exercise routine. It doesn't even have to be anything super intense. In fact, I don't want it to be super intense. I think that the healthiest thing for me would be moderate cardio, yoga, Pilates, that type of thing. So that's at least starting out with 5 minutes a day. I've been on a weight loss journey before, and I've lost 90 pounds since my heaviest when I was a teenager. And I started the weight loss journey by just 5 minutes on a bicycle. That's it, 5 minutes, and I worked my way up. So I really want to do that again. And along with that, just self-care, putting on facial masks, having little spa days at home, journaling, things like that. Oh, actually, that should be a separate category. it kind of goes along with self-care, but just journaling and writing more. Because that will go along with my goal of wanting to eventually write my own novel. And number 3. Oh, I completely forgot that I was going to write. I meant to write my goals in the pink pen. Oh well. It's okay. So number 3. So going along with my 3rd lesson of 2020, I want to develop my business ideas, my multiple streams of income, become financially independent. There we go. Let's see if I can spell. I always forget how to write independent in English. I learned French from high school to college, and now I'm very confused about how to write it in English and how to write it in French. But that kind of looks wrong, but I think it's right. So yeah, those are my top 3 2020 lessons and top 3 2020 goals. And like I said, I'm just going to reflect a bit more because I'm sure there's more that I want to accomplish, more lessons to reflect on. But that's it for now, and I hope that you enjoyed this little video and that it inspires you to reflect on your own year and on your own goals. And let me know down below things that you want to accomplish in 2021. Oh, I just realized that I wrote 2020. Yeah, I always do that every single year. But alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you next time.